Hello, I'm Michael Binkley, and we are in the studio. Several months ago, I started to teach myself three-dimensional virtual sculpting on the computer using a program called ZBrush. And I created a abstract female torso, and the file looked like this. I had this particular model 3D printed in plastic, but last month I took it on to a next step, and that is to have it carved or pre-carved with a CNC machine. CNC is an acronym for Computer Numeric Controlled Machine, and it was done at Subtle Lake in Oregon at the Northwest Stone Sculptors Association Annual International Carving Symposium. And there, my colleague and friend and the association president, Carl Nelson, had a 3-axis CNC machine available for use. And I sent Carl the OBJ file, the virtual file, via email to get ready for the process. And he imported that into another bit of software called Fusion 360, and that gave the CNC machine the information needed to work subtractively on a piece of limestone. Because the piece of limestone was actually quite wide, Carl offered to carve this particular model two ways. So you can see one was carved this way, and a mirror image was carved upside down this way. And this is the result. The CNC machine works on, as I say, on 3 axes. It had a carving head, a rotary carving head that moves left and right on the x-axis, back and forth on the bed, the y-axis, and up and down on the z-axis. And this actually was laying on the bed in this configuration. So you can see as the machine head came down and started working at the first level, it made passes back and forth and took away everything except for the topmost proud part on the belly button and the breasts of the torsos, and successively went down and carved out, as you can see, almost like a topographical landscape image, the various succeeding layers of limestone. So the CNC machine is a subtractive process. It carves away stone and does it in such a fashion so that the result is that the sculpture is partially, I'm going to turn it back this way, is partially carved and ready for me to finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my chop saw to cut these two and free them from each other, and I will finish one of the sculptures and leave one as it is now to show others in the future the process and how this sculpture came to be from a 3D file to a 3D printed file in plastic to one that was carved. I would say this is about 85% complete using a CNC carving machine. So I'm just going to turn that around so you can see what the result of the robot carving looks like before we move to the chop saw and cut the two figures in half. You'll notice that there are masses of stone on the top and bottom, and these are important because they act as a reference point, the 0, 0, 0 axis, which is what the machine needs to know relative to the rest of the piece of stone, as to how far from that point 0, 0, 0 to make each one of the successive passes of the rotary carving head. So let's take that over to the chop saw, and we'll cut these two figures cut one sculpture into two figures. And by the way, I made a mistake. It's not a mirror image. It's actually the same image twice, but one is inverted. So let's fire up the saw. and cut this thing in half. Okay, so we completed that cut safely. So they are now two separate figures, and I've just inverted the one of them so that it matches and is in the same orientation as the one on your left. By the way, this is a limestone that comes from the state of Texas in the United States. Very lovely, sort of a buff color. There's evidence of fossils in the stone, which will show up when the sculpture is finished. And I think I'm going to finish the sculpture on the left and leave this one as the in its current state, for example. The reason is that there's not quite enough stone here at the toe to complete the form of the, if you will, the foot. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'll complete this sculpture. So stay tuned for my next blog post, and we will have some video footage of the completed sculpture. Thanks for watching.